Welcome back to Sooner Intel with your co-host Jason Watkins from the Hall of Fame College Football, Kchris Griffin from the Horns Down podcast in the dark, and Chris Mason from Sooners 360. Welcome into the show, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
It's
Doing
it's
good.
it's it's game week.
Yeah,
So
man. It's game week. Just excited, man, for another opportunity, another challenge, and ready to get to Texas week, man. But hey, we're here. Focus on this team here, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's I'm looking forward to Texas week myself, but it almost feels like with what's going on with Hawkins and stuff, you want to ramp him up a little bit. I think you want to ramp up Javonnie Gibson a little bit too, right? So and get some of these guys just kind of peaked and ready to go. But we got plenty to talk about tonight. With hey, listen, obviously it's the big story for everybody is clearly John Mateer. Will he be back for the Texas game? We don't know. It sounds like he could be if you're hanging out and listening to the Chipotle crowd, you know. But listen, it's important to get off and get this game going and try to maybe get some running game going on and stuff like that. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah. If I've done it every game thus far, so let me kind of give you my kind of my few thoughts. Let's just call it that, few thoughts. Not in the weeds, not anybody else's thing, just my few thoughts about the team that we're facing. Man, when I watched them play, it's almost like they want to be as aggressive as like an Illinois State, but they can't necessarily be that aggressive. Not necessarily sure how many times they rotate people, do all the rest of those different things, but they will line up with six people across the board on that defensive line just to try to give you a look, right? Um, some of the deep throws I've seen a lot of teams, especially Florida State, be able to connect on Kent State. It's a lot of confidence throws. It's, hey, my guys are better than yours. My guys are going to pop open if I throw this, right? But you're able to work the field against them, and you're able to do a lot of things. The reason why I'm bringing this up because I know people in the comments, and I know maybe Jason or so is like, why are we talking about this? But hey, this is a chance for Michael Hawkins to really go out there and show us that he's refined his game and that there's a difference when he has a quarterback coach, and on top of that, he has a really good offensive coordinator, right? So this is an opportunity for him to go and showcase the improvement that we all have heard about since spring, right? So this is going to be a good challenge for him early on, at the very least, to be able to show that he's matured and that, hey, his legs is not the only weapon, right? So to me, that's kind of the story. Are his legs going to be the weapon, or can he sit in the pocket? Can he direct this offense? Can he get things going down the field? Can he show us a level of explosiveness just to be able to do some things maybe we're not used to seeing Mateer do, right? Can he be a little bit more explosive? So that's just going to be the question. Can we get up and down the field like we want to? We should be done with this game by halftime, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, early on, they're still going to try to present some new things. They're still going to say, oh, well, he's a new quarterback, blah, 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 this and that. But Hawkins is good enough to go get it done. I think that I hate to go back to the game, but we beat Navy if you give Arbuckle at least a month just to get things situated. But
Yeah, if he's calling
obviously,
plays, they win. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Call the plays.
But on the other side of the ball, as far as just offense or whatnot, it's nothing that we have not seen yet. We haven't seen this season already. Um, with a Temple, with a Illinois State, and arguably those two teams are better than Kent State. So it's just one of those things where we've seen some guys try to throw some stuff at us offensively, but we'll be okay. Biggest thing I think from my opinion, I'll pass this to Chris Mason, is just, what we're all going to talk about now, which is the run game. Would love to see it, but also this is a game where I'm not necessarily trying to. I may force the issue by running some of the fundamental plays, some of the stuff that we saw that I sent you guys some stuff from the spring combine, as far as what kind of stuff that we saw them run wise, even if it was 7-on-7, however you want to go about it. Regardless, though, I don't want to show anything. We don't have to show anything this weekend, I believe. I think at the end of the day, it's up to you whether Mateer plays, what you show, all the rest of that stuff leading into that week. Let Ketchum and everybody else at Orange Bloods and I respect all my guys, my Texas guys. Let them just go crazy on what is going to actually happen next week. Because at the end of the day, they face Florida. This couldn't have lined up any better. They face Florida. We're getting healthier. And at the end of the day, we got us a good chance to go out there and just get some really, really good reps. Chris Mason?
It's hard. It's hard not just to echo what you've been saying, Chris. Is that we need to see Mike Hawkins working from the pocket, going through reads, finding the open guy in a timely manner, and getting the ball out when anticipating when guys are going to be open. And I just need to see that Arbuckle and Coach Coos have coached him up the last 9 months. That's what I need to see. I don't think we're. I don't think, and I think that's what we will get.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd like to see the 5 O-line starters in the game doing some fundamental O-line stuff for a half. The 5 guys we want to start against Texas, I want to see them all in there as a unit, blocking for Blaylock, X-Rob, Barnes, Ott, Tatum, well, whoever's ready to play and whoever practiced well. So we keep hearing that Ott practiced well. So let's see. I don't know if this is the game we'll see it. It's the 5th game, so if he plays, I'm pretty sure this would be the 5th game he would play. So that would eliminate a redshirt opportunity for him if he was thinking of doing that. I don't know that he is, but that's a rumor flying around a little all over the place. But on defense, let's get as many guys in there as possible. I'd like to see a little Danny Okoye action. I think the rest of the defensive ends have earned kind of a break. I'd like to see some Wyatt Gilmore and Danny Okoye attacking.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see a lot of James Nesta at linebacker. I'd like to see, maybe this is a game maybe they can burn one game, and this is where we can see some Trent Wilson and some Nigel Smith. I'm just looking to see, this is the best chance for us to get some backups, some playing time, and perhaps after halftime, you can empty the bench and start attacking with our third/4th string D line, basically.
Yeah. Danny Okoye, it'd be nice for him to kind of get a tune up for himself.
Yeah.
Maybe get a couple of plays, couple of tackles or whatnot that would give more confidence. I mean, he was out there the last game, but he was dropping back, right? So
attack, go into attack mode, challenge the backups to maintain what could be a shutout environment, right?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that I'd like to see Brent do, but I would like to see a economic use of our frontline talent. Let me just put it that way.
Fellas, Matt, can I take an early dig real quick? Are you guys okay with that? If I take an early dig real quick?
Go right ahead.
So Jeff Shear is very, very, very loud in the comments right now. He says, "Agreed, Jason, but I don't think you learn anything because the opponent is inferior." Let me pull that back up. So obviously, Jason and Jeff Shear are talking about what you learn from Hawkins. The only dig that I'm gonna say is this right here, guys. Look, we're not gonna go into Twitter next year. At least you're not gonna hear from us three and say, yeah, our quarterback is SEC ready because he played a Mississippi State team that, let's be real, wasn't an SEC caliber team last year. We're not trying to see that. All we're trying to do is just see improvements, show that he can do the quarterback things, because at the end of the day, this may not prove anything to you, but if you're really looking at the big picture, this is going to give us the writing on the wall to know, do we need to jump into the portal or not? This is bigger than just.
I think
this is bigger than just him playing Kent State, knowing something against Texas or whatever. There are things behind the scenes that are going to happen. Mateer's going to be back at some point in the year, but again, to me, this is something that shows me, does he have his mechanics better? Because coming in, I think that's where all of us were on the same page as far as like, he's raw, he's still a bit raw. It's there, but it needs to be refined. So has he done that? Is it going to take him another slot? Because the thing is that I don't know if you can go into the year. How good Whitbauer is, we'll see. But I don't know how
I think this is a reps thing. This is a ramp him up, get him ready for if he does have to play against, you don't want him coming in. You think about the first game of the season, you're playing Illinois State.
Yeah.
That wasn't, you didn't see Mateer exactly start quickly, right? He kind of worked his way into the game, got it going. And I'm going to tell you that, and shout out to Atlantasooner. Appreciate that, man. Sharing the stream and everything for us, man. And you've been doing great stuff out there as well. But hey, no, I mean, to me, and he talked about this on his show, and shout out to him for that. You go back and look at some of the things that he did in the Tennessee game, especially when Jackson Arnold was pissing down both legs and turning the ball over right after turnovers that were forced. He came in, layered balls in, over linebackers in front of safeties and stuff like that. He was putting his body on the line, helicoptering into the end zone. He did the same thing the next week. He basically beat Auburn by himself on the road. He's the first freshman to get his first SEC win on the road in SEC history, from what I understand. This is one of the things that you got to look at this in terms of, it's not really about, I think, as far as the staff is concerned, they believe in the kid. So to me, it's about getting him ramped up, getting whatever rust might be there knocked off. But I don't really know that there is a ton of rust. He gets a lot of reps as it is because they've been trying to keep him ready to go if they needed him. And they needed him. We talked about it a lot. I've told you guys a ton. I believe that whether it was for 2 plays, two games, or 2 months, if Oklahoma's going to get to where they want to get, we were going to need Michael Hawkins at some point. And it's come to be true. And, I know that Mateer is going to be back whenever he's back. Everybody will welcome him back whenever he's back, including Michael Hawkins. But this dude is not some scrub. He's not some scrub. You know what I mean? And I think it's just about ramping him up more than anything else.
Yeah, we just everyone says you can't tell anything from this Kent State game. I couldn't disagree more. If he is efficient, confident, and productive, that will tell us all we need to know. I mean, if he is efficient, the offense moves around him, he's confident, the offense is moving efficiently, and by that I mean we're not calling timeouts when he first gets in. He's had 2 weeks to get ready, because that's the only benefit of the bye week. And Mateer, and they knew Sunday night something was wrong with Mateer, so Mike's known for 2 weeks. He's been QB1. So I think you can tell it's, again, regardless of the opponent, Mike can demonstrate certain traits, certain coach that he's been coached up.
Precision,
coach up. He makes, okay, Mike dropped back. He scanned, he found the open guy, and he quickly delivered the ball, right? I mean, Jackson Arnold is still not doing that, after in his third year, and apparently never will from that. So, and Mike can just demonstrate a command of the offense, even against a terrible opponent, that gives the coaches confidence and give the players around him confidence. So, will it tell us everything? No. And none of us are pretending that it will. But if you don't think he can't look and control the offense, have a command and a confidence, and as you said, a precision to it, he can. There are things you can pull out of this game regardless of the opponent, and to think otherwise is just kind of silly.
And
that's on the command of the offense and how he's going to communicate with his quarterback coach, his coordinator, Mateer. They're going to be. I mean, how's he going to go out there and do it? But look, we know the guy's got ice water in his veins. He's not scared of it. He's not scared of the moment. To me, that's big. When we're talking about Jackson Arnold in here. Shit, there's never been a time that I've seen the kid be in the game that he wasn't afraid. I've never seen fear in Michael Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
So, And the whole thing is that like I think all three of us are confident in him. I think he is the guy going forward. I still believe in the plan. I
Yeah,
still believe in the plan. Mateer, you got Mateer here. Let him do his thing this year. Let him rock out. If he goes to the draft, he goes to the draft. We got Hawkins. Yes, you go to the portal and you get somebody or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, you have Hawkins, Bentley, Neubauer, and then you have whoever else is going to be here, whatever they're going to do when that time comes. But at the same time, again, perfect situation for him to go out there. And I think what I'm looking for most from Hawkins is just somebody who has improved the mechanics, that he's gradually improving, right? Because that's it. And again, I think somebody else here in the chat, they said, hey, arguably he's going against the best defense in the country. So for the
every day.
past 2 weeks. So fact of the matter is that I don't think BV has said let's lighten the load. Let's light his ass up and let's figure this out,
Yep.
right? So that's where we're at.
That's been since day one too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's been since day one. But hey, listen, let's talk, and we can talk about this ad nauseum. I don't feel like we have to continue beating this dead horse. We're gonna find out what he's like, what he's about in these next 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. What I love about this is that now he's got weapons around him. Now he's got a line that should be improving. What you want to see more than anything, I think, again, I don't believe that you need him to go out there and be Heisman right now, Mr. Heisman level quarterback. I think you need him to protect the football in a way that really Oklahoma hasn't protected the ball as well as you would like them to begin with. If he can go out there and do that and move the offense up and down the field a little bit, whether you score a ton or not, and get your guys involved, guys like Javonnie Gibson, who I'm super excited about seeing get out there. Guys like, because look, this is a guy that is explosive in a lot of ways. He's big, he's strong, he's got moves that most 6'3", frame guys like that, they don't have lateral movement like he does in speed. You know what I mean? This is not to call him CeeDee Lamb, but he ain't far off. This is the kind of guy, that's the kind of player that he is, explosive. So to get him ramped up is another huge thing this week.
Mm-hmm.
Eli Bowen coming back to the fold. Love that as well. This is Mr. Sticky, when it comes to the secondary, I think he's going to help you out in a lot of those, nickel situations, especially where you can get both him and Cortland on the field at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
He can go one-on-one with the best. We watched him do it with Ryan Williams, last year. And so good to see him getting back healthy. This is something we haven't experienced as much in the last few years under Venables, is that we're getting some guys healthy around mid-season, middle of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where that's going to help us down the stretch to bring in some of these guys and have some more weapons. But look, as far as it goes with Hawkins, just having the guys that he's going to have, he didn't have dudes like that to throw to last year.
Mm-mm. Hell, he didn't have, he hardly had anybody, pet away. What I think it was a playbook issue with him. Hester, hell, it was just making sure he stays on the field, right? Couldn't get, some guys just could not get them healthy, right? So he's going to have his full arsenal of weapons this week, and he's going to have Arbuckle there too. And it's just different, man. Having Arbuckle on the sideline, walking up and down, I hate to say it, it's very mule shoe like, if you get what I'm saying. Walking up and down the sideline, making sure eye contact on me. Let's call this game together. Let's figure this out together. It gives you a lot of confidence, man.
And Arbuckle has been nothing but confident about Mike since spring ball.
Yeah.
And every public arena that we see him in. And let's just be clear. They paid extra to keep Mike in spring.
Damn right.
We know this for a fact. They paid extra to keep Mike.
No, there was
75% of the SEC schools right now.
In my estimation, at least, just everything that I know that I've heard, that one of the quarterbacks from last year's team was a priority. Let's just put it like that. And yeah,
I
So
mean,
I'll just
it's
go with
spring.
that. There was one who was definitely a priority. Like
Yeah,
let's
let's keep them around. And so I think it's, I think the more interesting topic is maybe, do we, we can talk about that when we, get to some of our prediction stuff. Is I'm kind of excited. Maybe do we get to see a little Elijah Thomas? Do we get a little Elijah Thomas action in the second half with,
I'd love
and
to.
like to see a little flash of there. Zion Kearney and Mike had a connection in the bowl game. Does that
Yep.
kind of come back? Does that kind of come back? Do you work that a little bit
Ivan
as well?
carry on in those,
In
down in the
yeah,
red zone area, man. That's a jump balled cat, dude. Give him the ball like that.
yeah, and also let's just call it what it is. Mike never had Jaron Canning to throw to last year. Okay, is he leading us in yardage receiving wise, or is it Satania now?
I'm not
It's really
sure.
close. It's really close. Like they're 1-2, right? They got to be 1-2.
Let me check.
man. I'm sorry, Chris Mason.
I mean, our two leading receivers, flat out, Mike didn't have them to throw to last year. So, and if you don't think that makes a difference, I don't understand. Then we're not talking about the college football game that I understand it as.
To me, I think the biggest thing is get this game over with early. That way, it's not a thing. And second off, I think the only real plus side of this game, do not get anybody else injured. Let's be injury free going out. Going out of this game. Can't control that, but to me, those are the two big things. Other than that, obviously, just getting Javonnie, like I told my uncle earlier today, it's not necessarily a thing of him going out there and scoring 3 touchdowns or this and that or going for 100 yards. It's, hey, can we get him 3 or 4 catches and put him in a scenario where he can get tackled? That way, hey,
Yeah,
okay, now I got that out of the way. I'm good to go. Let's go. Just
foot's
get
fine.
him
The
some
foot's
some
fine.
bread.
The foot's
Yeah,
fine, right? The
exactly,
foot's fine. Let's move on.
exactly.
Yeah. No, I think it's again. It's I think it's again be efficient in the first half. Get our guys out of the lineup and let our young depth, let it breathe a little bit and play,
Yeah.
and be out there. If they give up some yards and give up a field goal here or there, I don't care. The reps they get and the chance they get is more important than, it's more important than, than OU covering on us to a certain degree, right? I mean, we've got bigger things to accomplish than Kent State. We can get, and we need to move forward with those as a program and as a team as a program overall, and as a team this year.
One last thing just to add to that, Jason. Kind of listened to the breakdown earlier this week, and then obviously just watching the film. It's definitely, yeah, I definitely will second what they say. Be interesting to see what does Cortland look like this week, right?
Yeah.
Because now that it's on tape with the double moves, the stunt and go, stuff like that. Now that it's on tape, people are going to try to pick on him a little bit more with that stuff. So
This is where
I
your
don't,
craft comes in if you're Cortland
yeah,
Gillibrand, right?
I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. If you're facing, Illinois State again, you're facing who else? You look good against some number one wide receivers. Cam Coleman's a bit different, but at the same
Yeah,
time,
he's
bounce
an
back.
NFL number one.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
an
yeah.
NFL number one.
It's a bounce back. So it's just, hey,
Sure.
are you really paying attention now to like what's going on? Because I'm not going to put him in the same boat as a Kanai, which that was just a problem. It was like I know he was watching film, but it was like his body was doing something totally different during the game. Mind and everything, his reactions were totally different. So it's just one of those things. Is it all starting to click, right? Or do we see any slight regression, things like that? But for me right now, even with Eli coming back, I think you stick with what you have right now, unless you have to make a change at some point. So that's just kind of where I'm at with it. So that'll be an interesting thing. I think we are looking at we call him I want to call him a redshirt freshman, but Hawk and just some of these other kids, right? It's your younger guys that you're actually thinking about a little bit more in a game like this, not because you don't think that they're going to perform well, simply because you just want to see improvement, right? even you can even go to the run game, put Ott to the side. Can X Rob get back to form when Tatum gets back? Some of these younger guys, these are guys that we're going to rely on at some point this year. So we need to just continue to see just consistency. Even if it's not your best, just at least be consistent right now to the point where you can continue your development at the rate that you're at.
Yeah, no doubt. Real quick, just to answer your question there that you had, Mr. Mason, Canick still leads the club in receiving, 17.1 yards per reception, long of 48. Doesn't have a touchdown yet, but he does have 307 yards on 18 catches. Isaiah's right behind him at 284, followed by Deion Burks at 265. So you've got, and
three guys he never had a chance to throw to last year.
Facts. Yeah, and look, I mean, you still have Keontez Lewis, who's got over, he's got 17 receptions and 210 yards. You've got 4 guys that are up over, with multiple, double-digit catches that are up over, 10, 11 yards per reception. You know what I mean? And Canick's at 17.1. Satana's at 12.9, 12.4 for Keontez and Deion Burks. I think Deion Burks, you're kind of waiting to see him break out and make some guys miss a little bit. You know what I mean? And I think that may be – that's what I love to – I'm excited to see a guy like, Javonnie Gibson, because we've seen him do that at the lower levels and stuff, and that's what he's about. But you kind of want to see them do that, because until they do, you're gonna keep seeing those guys – just kind of on that 3 deep shell and stuff like that, and that's where the running game comes in. I don't know that I trust much and I've been basically not caring to talk about Jaden Ott because the dude ain't on the damn field. I don't know what's going to happen. We've heard multiple weeks from Arbuckle that he's had good practice weeks and then he hadn't played. You know what I mean? So something's up there. I don't know what it is, but I don't care to talk about it. I like the guys in the room. Look, I feel like every one of those dudes can go out there and do their thing. It's not like we have to have him, I don't think you do anyway. Maybe I'm wrong.
And sometimes, man, this is the thing. Like, it's been a minute since we've actually been in an offense like this. Not even a slight to Levy, because Levy's offense on paper and statistically were pretty prolific, right? Yeah. But it's one of those things, especially just kind of going off of last year. We weren't in this situation necessarily with the offense that we have, because it's one of those things where you take what the defense is giving, you kind of start dictating to them, like, okay, if you're literally going to let me pass all day, we will pass all day. Like, if you're going to let me pick up yards like that, that will be my run game, because I can just pick up these easy 4th and 1s, different things like that. So I think, to me, going back and watching that Auburn game, that's what I saw a lot of. I saw there are times where the blocking is just fine on the run game, and sometimes it's not, right? But at the same time, we've seen gaps, we've seen holes open up and all the rest of the stuff, and it's coming. But there are certain times in the game, for however long it is, where the pass game is, that's what they're giving us, right? And they're playing zones or playing things like that. And if you haven't learned that by now, playing a zone against Arbuckle, especially if Mateer has time and he's not necessarily pressed, it's probably not the best thing, because guys are just going to sit in those holes the whole time. That's, again, that going back to the fundamentals of his offense, that's just where it's at. But it just is what it is. We shall see. This is kind of a we shall see type of game right here. Like, everything is on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and run these predictions, man.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. All right, we're going to check out our predictions for the game. Let's see. Here we go. Kent State this week, leading rusher. That's why I was bringing that up about Jaden Ott. I'm not going to talk about the dude. I could definitely see Hawkins being the leading rusher, but I also think that Torrey Blaylock has established himself as the guy. I feel like they're going to have some running lanes. This is probably one of the worst teams in FBS, if not the worst team in FBS. So I still like Torrey Blaylock to get. I'd like to see them run a little bit more off tackle more than anything else. But we'll see. You guys both expecting Hawkins. Look, I think you can. It's easy to go there, right? We've seen him break 60+ yard runs multiple times in 4 games last year with him on the field, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just think there'll be a time and a play where he's able to house it like he did against Auburn, and I don't see Kent State having much of a response to it, and maybe he does it once or twice. So I'd love to be wrong on this. I'd love it to be one of the running backs, or a couple of the running backs post a good day, and the majority of Mike's yards are from the pocket or cold rollouts, passing plays. Right? I'd love it to be. Yeah, Mike didn't really run it, but he didn't need to run it because the running backs were finding lanes and he was finding receivers. But I just think he's too naturally talented running the ball that something's not going to break for him in a big play.
Yeah, I agree. I can see that. Leading receiver, we all got a different one. I think that Kanik he's been leading for most of the year. I feel like this is a week that you might see some stuff from Javonnie Gibson, especially if they're trying to ramp him up. But I definitely think that Kanik being, especially for a young quarterback making his first start of the season, that's a security blanket for you, man. The dude gets open, so I could definitely see that happening as well. Keontez Lewis has been, he's been really good too. So I'm excited. I'm kind of geeking about Gibson, so I just threw it out there. So excited about that. Will he pass for 300 yards? Neither of you guys think he will. I think that this is the kind of week that he probably should. I think it's the kind of week that he probably should.
But I'm thinking I'm viewing more precision from him, and that maybe he's not in the game as long as we think he might be. That maybe second half we're up 35-0, something like that. He gets the first possession coming out of halftime because that's what Arbuckle needs to do in terms of halftime adjustments, and then maybe we see a little bit more of Whit Neubauer than we anticipated. That's kind of why. That's the only reason I went with no.
Okay. What do you got, Kchris?
For what again? I'm sorry.
Well, you can go with wherever you want, but we were asking about Michael Hawkins passing for 300. You don't expect it either. You said
no, I don't. I think this is a modest, like somewhere between like 200, 250 type day for him, but probably his legs carry him to probably like at least 40 to 60 yards as well.
Yeah,
but I think that's probably a short day, and I think that we get really good field position, and we're in plus territory whenever they have to punt.
Yeah. Okay. Will we have a 100-yard receiver? 2 of us say yes. Mr. Mason says no.
I think it's spreading the ball around, and I think again at halftime, some guys go to the bench.
And the whole thing is, I saw somebody put in here that Satania is going to be the leading receiver. This is a game where screens could work an awful lot,
right?
Yeah. And want to see guys catch it cleanly, hold on to it cleanly, and not go into the issues that we had last week. Let's not do that. Like there's been some times even with John where even with Mateer where you're just like, man, we killed ourselves. There was a couple of drives last game, man, we looked really good moving the ball down the field, turnover, right? So that's stuff that you got to clean up.
Don't turn the ball. Protect the football. That's what I want to see more than anything.
Yeah.
Protect the damn ball.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I do think you'll probably have one. I think you're probably going to have a couple of those big plays, and that could be, you could have a couple to Kanik. I think the Kanik could go off big. I think you could have a couple to any of the guys who we're talking about, Satana as well. Big plays are, I think that's something that could happen here. And I also believe that this is the week, will they score a special teams touchdown? I don't believe they will. But, and Mr. Mason does, but defensive touchdowns, I think that's coming. And I guess at this point, I'm kind of riding that, until they do, because it feels like to me, the defense is like, I can't believe they haven't forced a turnover, but it feels like it's coming and it's going to come in bunches. And when it does, they're liable to score a bunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kent State's gonna be punting a lot, and someone's gonna return a punt for TD. I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, nobody likes me. Oh, that's all right, man. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. All right, you will have more rushing yards and receiving in this game unless you have O-line issues. Yeah, and I don't know that. Here's the question. I guess I would ask this question: do they play Fasusi? Do they feel like they need to play Michael Fasusi this week to kind of get him ramped up? I don't know. I kind of feel like the more he has time to heal, maybe that's better. What do you
I
guys think?
would. I probably wouldn't play for Susie. Chris Mason.
So I just think it's very simple. If he's 100% playing, if he's not, then sit him. If he's 100%, we need to see the starting five out there. They need to get a little continuity in the both pass blocking and run blocking. But I wouldn't play him long, a couple of series, and then I get guys out from that perspective. So if the five guys are ready to play and they're healthy, play them. If not, then sit them. But if they are ready, put them out there, give them a chance for a couple of series to put all the things they've been trying to focus on over the last 2 weeks in practice, put it on the field, at least in terms of the continuity of the five guys playing together, and then get them out.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I think if he's healthy, maybe so. But if he's not, don't put him in. I don't think that even Fabechi too, Bill. I'm with you on that, Bo. Hey, Nubish 44 just became a member on Hall of Fame College Football. I appreciate that, man. Welcome to the family. Here's here's another thing. They don't need to score 40 or 50 in a game. Can they go get 6 when they need it? So far, they have shown they are capable, something we didn't see at all last year. Yeah, I honestly, this is something that, we're so used, as Oklahoma fans, we're so used to seeing, right, explosive offenses that go and put 40 and 50 up, right? But that's not always conducive for what you expect to see in complementary football that keeps your defense rested. You know what I mean? And so I think that may have a lot to do with why the defenses, they're scoring enough to stay ahead. And I mean, they've only trailed for
Jason.
just that small amount of time that Auburn took the lead last week.
Jason.
Yeah.
It's as simple as this, man. Last year around this time when things started to go downhill, Chris Mason said it, I said it, and you said it. Especially going into the summer, going into the winter, going into the spring, going to the fall. If this offense can average 23 plus points per game, we're gonna have a chance to win every game we play.
Yep.
Let's just be real. I mean, I think at early on, I think we were just begging for our offense to score more than 14 points. But at the same time, I mean, I think realistically speaking, with the defense that we have, the style of ball you have to play in this conference here, I think that if you're scoring 23 plus points, I think that you're able to figure those things out. Unless our secondary just goes to shambles or whatnot, I don't necessarily see Tennessee and trying to figure out another team on our schedule. I don't necessarily see a lot of teams scoring 30 points on us. I just don't.
I'll leave it at this. So far this year, we've needed our offense twice in the fourth quarter to come up with clutch drives. And they've done it both times.
Oh.
In Michigan, they ran the clock down to nothing. And at Auburn, they responded and got the lead back. So complementary football and clutch fourth quarter football, that's what we're getting from our offense so far.
Right. And that complementary football has led to this.
Yeah.
You're first in sacks, first in third down percentage, first in opponents' punts, opponents' plays of 10 plus yards, number one there. Opponents' passing yards per attempt, second in the NCAA, first in the SEC. Touchdowns allowed, second in the NCAA, first in the SEC. Total defense, second and second. Passing TDs allowed, third and first in scoring defense. third and second in scoring defense, third and second in passing defense, opponents' first downs, third and second, fourth and second in opposing yards per play, passing defensive efficiency, first in the SEC, fifth in the country, rushing TDs allowed, seventh in the country, first in the SEC. I mean, this is the best defense in the country, and you're doing enough offensively to continue doing that. This is why I've continued to say that, look, we don't need Michael Hawkins to come in and establish himself as a Heisman contender for however many games he plays. We don't. We need him to protect the football and do as well as he can do, take advantage of situations where I'm waiting and expecting that these, turnovers are going to happen. Good field position has already been happening because they've been shutting people down. Lots of tackles for losses, and they're getting behind the sticks and stuff like that. The field position game has been really good. When these turnovers get started, you're going to have some opportunities. Just make good on those. Keep yourself connected to that. If you do those things and you continue to rank like this throughout the rest of this season, Oklahoma's going to have a chance to do everything that we'd like to see them do.
Yeah.
They're going to have a chance to do that.
Yeah, I think it's all there. We're just they've been doing the things we wanted them to do. So yeah. For defensive MVP, I think we all agree that there's a strong chance OU's going to hold Kent State under 300 yards and under 10 points, right? I mean, that's
they should probably. I mean, they've held everybody under.
I mean, this could be another Temple 150, 160 yard kind of game.
Quite possibly, yes.
Quite possibly. I think D Stone is just going to eat this weekend.
He's the number one ranked defensive tackle in the SEC.
Pro Football Focus. Not exactly a surprise to anybody on this podcast, because if you don't remember our collective freak out when he was in the portal, go back and listen to that episode. I do like Jason. I do like your pick of Peyton. I mean, someone's getting a pick six. It's just a matter of time, and Peyton Bowen seems like a real good candidate.
He's been
It's been so
Peyton's
close.
Been very good since he got on campus, but he's been. I mean, in the Auburn game, dude had two pick sixes if he just holds onto the ball, and it was almost like it was just right there, and it was so easy. He kind of started looking to the end zone, whatever. They're going to come.
We're getting hands
when
on
it
football.
does, he's in the right places. Peyton's been playing at a very, very high level.
Yeah,
and so I could definitely see him being. That's my expectation is he's going to get that. I said, do they score a defensive touchdown? I'm thinking Peyton Bowen all the way on that.
Yeah, so I think that's a good answer, and I think all of us strongly believe that based upon all the evidence that we have and all of the data points that we have, that Mike's going to have a good, strong day, and we're going to come out of this game feeling good about Mike. That's why I think we all have him as the offensive MVP.
Yeah, man. I've been riding with this cat since he was at Frisco Emerson, man. I've been riding with him since he was at Frisco Emerson. I think that the Oklahoma fans that are hating on the dude need to shut the hell up. I just think it's wild that you would even go there. But, there's some that, they're just going to do what they do. But
again, if you're a long-time OU fan and you remember Mike Sr. and you remember that circumstances robbed OU of a Thorpe winner and an All-American cornerback.
Yeah, they did.
They just flat out did. If go back and talk to anybody from that period of time about that.
He was that guy.
He was that guy. So I am cheering big time for Mike Jr. and for Malik, just because we were robbed of an All-American experience from Mike Sr. because of circumstances beyond his control and just the way things worked out. I want my All-American superstar Hawkins in an OU jersey.
Yeah,
I want that redemption story. I want that story. So
I think he's that guy, man. Like I said, I think we've all been riding with him, and you can. It's not hard to tell if you're paying attention and just go back. I mean, like I said, shout out to Atlantasooner. He was showing some a lot of the plays that he had last year during the season. It's like the wow plays are there, but it's not even that. If you go back and look at the Tennessee game, he brought them back into a game that they were out of because of Jackson in the first half. And I mean, you had a ridiculous interception and 2 ridiculous fumbles. You know what I mean? That just it's wild to me the way that went. But you look at he was moving the football down the field. He was not afraid. And I mean, that Tennessee defense, people forget they were legit good, especially in the trenches. And they were popping. That dude was not afraid of any of it. He was again layering footballs in there. He had some really good shots that he hit Jacquez Petaway on in that game, right? It looked really good. And so I think that as it went along and Seth was screwing with him, yeah, it wasn't as good and stuff, but I thought the game planning was bad. You know what I mean? And when you've got, they brought this up on Teddy and Gabe the other day, when you've got Bauer Sharp, he's not even a blocking tight end going one-on-one with All-American edge guys. Yeah, it's not going to be good for your quarterback. The offensive line wasn't good, but shit, they weren't even using the offensive line to block these cats. It was unfucking real. It was unreal, So
I just, for the most part, I blanked out last year from my memory. It's not even really a factor. So Kchris, you only have 38 points. You think it's just going to kind of be a workman-like day, and OU's going to get guys in and out as fast as possible, and we're going to have kind of a run-of-the-mill second half, maybe?
Yeah. They get the 3 points by just pretty much late. We're playing pretty much the end.
The third string gives up a couple of plays and played
a little. Jet new in this game.
Yeah.
No.
I hope we do.
Well, why would you? I think you play Neubauer instead. This is a chance to get him some reps.
No, I'm saying you're going to end up going and you get enough out of Neubauer that you throw in Jet at the end too. You know what I mean? They should be well in control of this thing by halftime. To be honest with you,
I mean, if we start getting
this is a bad football team. This isn't Illinois State.
If we get some turnovers and things get mucky, ugly early. Short fields, some scores. If we get some quick scores, things. It's going to be. You're going to be watching the feed, and you're going to be wondering who are these guys out there, because there could be numbers you haven't seen in a while, and you're going to be wondering who's playing, who exactly is playing. So, I think it's a possibility if all 3 sides start scoring quickly. With some long distance stuff. I think who plays, if you can't get in the game against Kent State, if we get rolling in the first half, then
it may be a sign of the future.
Maybe if you're not injured, if you're not someone like Afalava or the Wimberley kid, both guys who are just injury red shirts. If you're because otherwise I don't see us. Our rest of our schedule, we know what it is. We know who we're playing. We're not going to have a lot of opportunities for guys to get out in the field.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. All right, let's we'll get into our pick 5s here in just a second as well. We'll go ahead and get going with that. Let's see. Check out the My Bookie Pick 5, and make sure you get over to hofmedia.us/mybookie1000, up to $1,000 as a welcome bonus. That is up to 50% of your initial deposit. And I've been killing it on my bookie the last few weeks, man. I'm up like $500, so killing it in there. We're gonna jump into our picks for the week. We'll go into first though. Let's take a look at last week's. Hey, Chris, what's up with you, man? You struggling, bro? Struggling.
I'm trying to Y'all are going off the
whatever you're
point.
trying to do.
Y'all are fine with that. I'm just picking the games, man. I'm telling you what's going on. Now, Penn State, I don't know. I fell for it. I thought, okay,
Well,
this
that was
is
dumb.
finally the opportunity for Franklin to get it right. That didn't happen. LSU is a mystery to me. I don't know. But I mean, I did win the Texas A&M game. I guess y'all going off the point. So
No, and I had Aggie as well, and they obviously were picking against the spread though, and so I took the L there as well, and the same with LSU. Look, LSU is, I think that there's a problem there. Something is not right.
I think
Go ahead.
I think Nuss is going to shut it down and have surgery.
Well, my question is, why the fuck are they making him have to do that when they've got Van Buren sitting there? This is a guy that at Mississippi State last year went to Athens and damn near beat him.
Yeah,
He was a freshman.
Yeah, I get you, but Brian Kelly's not that smart.
Well, clearly.
So
Brian Kelly needs to go to Oregon and go to the 50-yard line and snort whatever Dan Lanning has right now on the entire stash. I was watching Scarface today. People, look, I'm sorry. I was watching it at work. I was doing my work, but I was watching Scarface today. And the whole time I was thinking to myself, I was like, boy, Dan Lanning would be perfect for this movie. Just a small B-roll right now. I'm not sure what's going on there, man. My God. I mean, jeez.
Yeah. Do we place bets on Vandy? We'll get to that here in just a second. But yeah, dude, whatever. And hey, man, shout out to Dan Lanning. That has been fun discussion all week. My favorite line on Monday morning was he snorted the 20-yard line.
I'm going to date myself here. There's an old Chevy Chase movie called Modern Problems. You guys have probably never seen it, but it's a classic clip where he snorts like an entire line of dust around the thing. And after he does it, his face is so wired, it looked like Dan Lanning.
I get Wolf of Wall Street vibes from Dan Lanning, where he wakes up and he's snorting that 8-ball off of somebody's well. Like, Jason, keep moving.
I love it. Yeah. Yes, Wolf of Wall Street vibes, or even I said holy Scarface Batman. I was just thinking of him sticking his face in that whole pile of cocaine in the movie. Loved it. Loved it. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Favorite line. Yeah. Favorite line. Yeah. Good stuff. I think Mike Hawk will surprise a lot of people. Yeah. Let's jump over to our picks for this week.
Now, guys, we're not picking the OU game because
it's kind of stupid too, right?
It's kind of pointless. Right. So I went with and it's a bad week. So maybe I should have stuck with the OU game. But last week I should.
This is some good games.
Well, it was tough finding 5 good games.
Nah, Chris Mason, these are some good games, man.
All right.
Because these are teams that people want to know about and they want to talk about. I mean,
that's true. There are 4 good games on. Good games.
I mean, hey, there's 4 out of 5. Some are subject because I don't know if Houston. Well, let's go from there. Just go, Jason.
Yeah, listen. Let's start off with Vanderbilt at Alabama. I think 11.5, and now it's been bet down today to 10.5.
Has it? Okay.
Given that, but I'll tell you that's telling you that's wild to me that would be the spread. I don't care that it's in Tuscaloosa. I think that Alabama wins the game. I don't think that they win it by 2 touchdowns. But I'll tell you what, somebody better reach out and beat these guys because they're going to be a fucking problem if not.
Not so fast, my friend.
Oh, like
give me Alabama.
You ain't getting none of this shit right.
Give me Alabama to cover, okay? Here is the issue, all right? Here's the issue.
You're wilding.
Even though Jalen Milroe is a hell of an athlete and has a higher upside than anybody right now currently. You could say Keelan Russell, but anybody right now in that room, even Ty Simpson, and he's playing really well right now, right? At the end of the day, Bama's a different team with Grubb and Simpson at the helm simply because the pass game is back. Okay, the passing effect that they wanna kill you with, that's there now. It's there. I mean, going to Georgia, doing what they did through the air, an awful lot. It's back, people. I'm sorry.
This is the
And
giant killer we're talking about, though, in Diego Pavia.
that is perfectly fine. But what you're not getting, what I'm saying is that Jalen Milroe is not there. It's not a one trick pony offense where it turns into a freaking RPO the entire time, and it's pretty much QB run to where you have to have some designated runs.
Have you not been watching them?
This is different. I'm telling you, this is a different attack. This is a different attack. They're spreading you out. They're getting their guys in favorable matchups. What's called, especially moving him to the slot, is crazy. Ryan Williams just putting him all over the place. Bernard is playing really good. They're gonna beat Vanderbilt. I think this is one of the games where it's just hard to.
I'm not saying they're gonna lose. I'm telling you, they're not covering 11.
I think they cover.
I'm going with the backdoor late meaningless cover here.
What? So you're
I'm going. I think Bama wins, but I think Vandy. Vandy gets like a late cover TD, something garbage wise.
Okay. Well, that would be Bama not covering.
No, I'm choosing Vandy. I think they're going to cover somehow, but it may not be. It may be on the Stanford Steve's bad beats. It may be a bad beat.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at. It's just too many points for DeBoer and a mobile quarterback. I think Kchris is right. Bama's going to put up points, but I think Pavia running the ball. I think Vandy's going to score enough to keep this close.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think it's a one score game. I think that and I'll be honest with you, I'm not positive that Bama wins. I think that they should, but I'm expecting Vandy to be inside of 11.5 for sure. And I think they're probably within, I think it's a 4-point game. So we'll see how it goes. Miami at Florida State. Look, I'm going Florida State on this one. I think that they overlooked Virginia last week. Looking ahead at this game, this is absolutely the kind of game that Mario Cristobal will fuck it up in some way, shape, or form. And as a game day coach, we know that this game is coming. It's at Doak Walker. That place is going to be wild. And look, physicality is going to be. This should be they should be popping the pads. I think Florida State at minimum covers, but I honestly think that they're going to win the game.
It pains me to think Mario Cristobal can manage his way through any difficult environment. But I'm if this was 6.5 or 7, I might be leaning FSU, but I don't know. I think Miami, the two. I'm not sure how FSU blocks Ruben Bain, and I'm not sure how FSU gets enough pressure on the Miami quarterback. The Miami offensive line. So I think it's a Ruben Bain, Francis Muiaga, their big tackle. I think FSU doesn't have the pieces it needs to put the game into the hands of the Cristobal to throw it away. But nothing would shock me that Mario finds a completely new and different way to lose a football game. I mean, his brother from another mother, Franklin, lost last week, so anything's possible. No doubt. Moving on, Mississippi State, Texas A&M. I feel like A&M should win the game. Here's the thing. They haven't been scoring a ton of points. I know that they probably should score more points in this game because I don't think Mississippi State's great on defense. I mean, we saw that. And they should win. 14.5 is a lot to cover, and the A&M defense hasn't been fantastic. I feel like this is a prime place for Mississippi State to at least cover this one, and they've been playing well. As Nubish said
in the chat here. They've been playing very well. The only thing about it is Blake Shapen and his turnover. He's prone to turn the damn ball over. But look, they've got weapons, man. They've got weapons in there, and they've been getting up and down the field. Shout out to Jeff Lebby for, I mean, damn, they did everything but win that game against Tennessee last week. You know, they could have a letdown here, but I feel like they cover 14.5 for sure.
Okay, Chris, what do you think is the final score? How big a win is it for A&M? Do they just blow them out?
No. I think that this is it's a 10 to 14 point game right there. I think they beat them by either 10 or 14 points.
So you actually think Mississippi State covers?
No, I think Texas A&M goes and does what they need to do. I think they get some stops. I mean, it's at A&M, so that's the problem.
Yeah.
You know, you have those cowbells, they have the 12th man. I think the 12th man is going to show up loud and proud for Dare. Let's go ahead and get to the game, Eric. Well, let's talk about let's say the best for the last.
Yeah.
Because we know we got some punches to throw, but there's some Texas Tech at Houston, and Texas Tech people are saying that they may have the best defensive line in the nation. I heard Pollock say it.
Oh my Lord!
Oh boy!
Oh my Lord! I don't buy that shit at all. I think that is some wild talk by David Pollock, and I like David Pollock, but come on, man, let's be real about this here. That's not factual. Houston, Willie Fritz, they're going to keep if they don't win. I would not be surprised if they won the damn game. They will be within the 11.5. I'm not ready to buy Texas Tech yet. I knew that they were going to go on the road and win the game against Utah. I don't think Utah's that good. They can't throw the damn football. Houston can. They've got a real deal quarterback. They can. This is the type of game that we're going to find out a lot about Tech. Maybe they win, but I don't see them covering this. And especially it's on the road. I don't see it.
Well, I always make one wild pick every week, which I think I'm going to lose. I'm hoping this is the pick. Because, so the problem sometimes when I make these picks is, you pick who you want to win, not who you think will win, right? Yeah. And, man, I desperately want Texas Tech to go. Tech to go down in a flame and blow up and not make the playoffs. So I'm hoping this is the start of me jinxing the crap out of them.
Yeah, listen, if you jinx them and Houston wins, that's cool because I'll catch up to you here in the overall for that one. So I've got a couple there that we're different on. So I'm hoping to take the lead this week.
That's right. Where I'm going at the overall. All right, let's get to it, man. Let's get to it so we can get up out of here. Look, Texas at Florida, fellas. How do we feel about this, man? I think all of us picked Florida. Was that out of hate, spite, or was that just you guys trying to really stick to this whole cover thing?
6.5 points in a game that's going to be a massive rock fight is a massive amount of points. I mean, this could be like 13-10 easily.
Yeah, I think so. I think 6.5 is a lot of points for a game that
I don't know.
See a ton of scoring going on in this game, man. I don't.
What's the under? I would take the under.
I would. Yeah, I'm beating the crap out of the under. I've already made a pick for that.
I mean, Florida gets back their defensive tackles who couldn't play at Miami. They played a strong game against Miami. That score shines a better light on Miami than that game really was. That was a couple of late touchdowns because fourth quarter, going for it on fourth down, Miami basically punched in a couple of short field touchdowns. I think Florida's defense is a good defensive unit.
Yes, it is.
I think Napier at home, maybe they wake up and realize that they can just pound the rock and don't let Lagway lose the game for you. And I have zero trust in Texas's offensive line and in Arch's decision making on the road in a terrible environment. I mean, There's
He
nothing.
hasn't played. He has not played in the swamp or anything like. I mean,
Well, he crapped the bed in Columbus, and what's really
and it's not like that in Columbus the way that it is at the swamp, guys.
what's changed? What has changed since then? They've played.
No, he's been worse. He's been worse.
He's played some crappy teams. He
Yes.
beat up a really crappy team, and I just until Arch proves it, I don't see Texas putting up a lot of points on good defenses the rest of this year.
No, man. Look, I think that this is the start. This could be the start. I don't expect Texas to lose the game because I think Florida is putrid offensively. You're right about that. What I don't know, I don't exactly think that Texas is going to go down and score a bunch of points. And to be honest with you, this is another one of those games that we're going to keep hearing about Texas having this elite defense and all this shit. I don't buy that either. Their wins have come against a combined offense of 122nd in production. You know, look, I know they've got good players. I know that they put up numbers. They didn't play great offenses last year either. You know, when they did, they got up against Arizona State. They gave up 550.
My whole thing with this Florida Texas game is that I think I was telling my uncle today. Look, this is one of the few games we could talk about because both defenses, right? Florida is coming here, a similar situation. They're banged up. They're safeties. That's going to be an interesting matchup to watch. Both of their safeties are hurt, right? They're starters. So that'd be interesting to see what they do. But Florida is going to play good football. But this is one of the few games, fellas, where it really does boil down to quarterback play. It's a quarterback versus quarterback type game. It's Arch versus Lagway. Who's the one who has the advantage here? I think it's Arch simply because he probably can rely on his defense way more than what Lagway can, right? Before they just kind of
know about
that's
that.
it. I know. I'm just giving you my opinion. I think Arch has probably the advantage there. When it comes to being able to get it done, I probably give it to Lagway simply because it may be a thing of throwing picks and doing that, but at least the ball is getting there, right? There are guys that are wide open or guys who are open in zones that Arch is throwing it to, and hell, it's going to the dirt or he's missing them completely. So both of them have shown that, hey, they will take some chances on some balls. And the whole thing is that, I mean, you know, the only other X factor that I can really name, because to me, I think the difference in the game last year was the fact that even with Wisner and some of the guys that they had last year, they couldn't necessarily just say, we're going to line it up and just run the ball at you. Now, they may say statistically, yeah, but no. They did a lot of cute shit. This is a game where you have to take away all the cute stuff, the money stuff. Take away the bum ass screens. Take away the reverses that they want to get Wingo on. Take away that stuff right there and make them play football. Make them play 4 quarters of football and give yourself a chance to win. I mean, that's really where it's at. Don't turn the ball over. Play good. Play up to your level, your potential, Lagway, and don't give turnovers. And then on defense, I don't. This is not necessarily an offense yet. Texas has yet to show me that they really can extend. I don't care what they did against Sam Houston State, but against other teams, they haven't shown that they can make those big plays. Now, again, some of those plays have been there, but not all the way. It's been drops. But there's mostly been just bad balls that have been thrown. So it's just one of those things where you got to take all that cute stuff away, all the finesse stuff that Sark wants to run, and make him play 4 quarters of real football. You do that and you're physical, you give yourself a chance at the end of the day. And I think that's all that you can really ask of this Florida team.
The only thing I can ask for Florida is hit Arch often and frequently and hard. Rattle him, rattle Texas. And again, this is a rock fight. If you told me the winner had 16 points, I'd be like, yeah, I can buy that. I mean, it has, if, you know, as long as there's not an avalanche of turnovers that, you know, and by turnovers, I also mean like, you know, Florida's penchant for snapping the ball over their punter's head, stuff like that. As long as there's not an avalanche of turnovers, this is a fourth quarter rock fight. Maybe Texas comes out of it, but it's not going to be it won't be a confident, pretty performance by either team. It's gonna be some painstakingly ugly football to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not picking Florida to win the football game. I'm picking them to cover.
Yeah.
I'm picking Florida to win.
Well, I mean, if it does,
Josh Pate's got them winning too. Josh Pate's got them winning too.
Yeah, if Florida does pull this game out somehow, I mean, that's a stumbling cocaine bender Texas rolling into the Cotton Bowl.
Could you imagine?
The meltdown will be fucking epic.
Oh man, hell, I may come in. I may push Landing out of the way and go ahead and sniff it myself. Shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously. I may push him out of the way and just be like, boy, what do we have here? Yeah. Because, I mean, obviously, I'm going to be honest with you. Hopefully you guys have seen the league, but I would be at full chub leaving the Cotton Bowl knowing that Texas is 3-3. That would get me all ready for everything at night, baby. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. Got to put a condom on just to think about it.
I don't feel like I want them to win though, because I don't. Look, that's when you get fired up, Texas, the next week, and I don't know. I think it's tough. I think this is a tough situation for them because of the fact that they are playing this game. Even winning the game, I feel like they're going to struggle. And I've been saying this for a while. I think that they're gonna have their moments. I think the Arch is going to struggle against this defense, and they're going to rattle his cage. They will. They're, Banks and the guys that up front. Look, their offensive line has not been very good, and what Florida's really good at is in the trenches for sure.
See, that's the interesting part, and I wish we played early. This should be like an 11 a.m. kickoff or whatnot, but it's 3 p.m. for whatever reason. Right. So, with that being said, we still get 30 minutes of that game right there. So we should know kind of early on whether this, which way this is going to swing, right? I think Florida, what you have to do, you have to come out there and be steady with the gas. Don't deplete it right there in the fourth quarter. Don't throw every single thing. Take your chances, take your shots, and just go from there. But I see them playing really inspired football. Around this time last year, whenever it looked like it was about to get gutted, that's whenever they turned it on. So why can't that happen now? They have a better team than they had last year, so why can't that happen now?
Fair enough. All right. Well, any other games that we missed that we should probably talk about or anything like that? I don't think I really saw anything that was jumping off the screen to me.
I couldn't find any other game really. I mean,
Yeah, Mizzou's off this week, so I mean, I know everybody's.
There's a whole bunch of teams off this week.
But
it ramps back up next week with OU Texas, but then it's going to be a hard time finding just 4 other games next week because things get real volatile, real interesting next week.
Yeah, no doubt. Brent Keller says, I think Texas overlooks Florida, looking ahead to Oklahoma. Listen, I mean, again, we haven't seen them do anything really elite. Nothing.
And they haven't exactly. Last year, they got a quiche road schedule, SEC-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, you can honestly say this is the first real SEC road game Texas has had to date.
Yeah, I mean, they had A&M, but they won the game. But A&M wasn't very good. A&M wasn't very good down the stretch either.
They're not even leaving the state of Texas to do that, though. They got to go on the road to a legit place they haven't been.
They're whining about the shit too, man. They are bitching and bitching and bitching.
They got to go on the road. They haven't, they never used to leave the state of Texas in Big 12 play and never had a tough road game. They never had to play us on the road because we obviously met them in Dallas. And, for the most part, they never had to go on a tough road game. So I think that aspect of it could tweak them up a little bit.
Best football team in Texas right now, huh, Sean? I don't know. I don't know about old Taco Tech, man. Listen.
Bar's low there.
The bar is low right now. Correct.
I mean, I think, Bo. I know.
It might be North Texas. It might be North Texas. It may not be North Texas, but who's to say?
It's not TCU.
Yeah.
Choking another game away. But yeah.
Stoops pulls his annual miracle in Athens. I don't know.
That would be a miracle of all miracles. But all right.
Yeah, I think that coming off of a loss to Alabama, that's not.
Kirby's going to flatten.
It's a bad situation for
Kentucky.
Correct.
If they had any kind of quarterback at all, then maybe you could see an upset. But I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
We want to call it. We want to call it, guys.
Yeah, that's it for us. I appreciate everybody coming in. Hey, if you didn't hit the like button, I got to ask you what the hell your problem is. Don't be a freeloader. Make sure you hit all the pages. Sooners 360, Horns Down Podcast, Hall of Fame College Football. Make sure you jump over there, hit the likes on all 3 pages, become a subscriber. Hey, I'm just over a couple of hundred away from 5,000. We'd love to be there before the Red River Shootout next weekend. So help a brother out.
It's been a big recruiting weekend. If you are not up to date, I posted a pod this morning covering everything in recruiting, other than a certain wide receiver visiting OU. But we can state we do have one official visitor coming in. But if you are not up to date with the massive recruiting momentum OU has, you need to check out my podcast, because if OU keeps winning on the field, recruiting's about to get very, very, very interesting.
Yeah, Neilio, we know that you don't freeload, bud. Thank you for the super chat in Venmo as well, as you always do. You're the man. We appreciate you. All right, good show for everybody. Hey, appreciate everybody coming in. We'll check you guys out on the next one.